Welcome back to Max Reaction. Hopefully you're having a positive day. Hopefully you've had a good day. For me, you know, since they've sent me home and quarantined me, I did take a COVID-19 test, a corona test today. I won't know the results. They said between 2 and 7 days. Hopefully it's the 2 days, because I got some weird stuff going on with my body. Sore throat, cough, rashes all over. I don't know what these rashes are about, but I don't know if you can see them, but you can see them right here and there and there. I don't know. I don't know if that's a corona symptom or not. Some people say it is. Other people say it's not. They're all over this arm too, and my legs and everywhere. So hopefully I don't have COVID, but you never know. The test wasn't too bad. They jammed the thing up in your nose. Kind of made my eyes water. But it is what it is. Throat still hurts. You'll probably hear it in my voice if I talk too much. But anyway, the video's not about me. I just want to give a little update because some of my subscribers said, hey, you should get the test done. And you have to wait to get a test here. You can't just walk in unless you do it in the emergency room, I guess. Anyway, we're going to check out this breaking news. And I don't know if I like this news, but I have to respect the news. You know, I got to respect the Philippine leader and whatever he decides. It's, you know, it's his country. He's hopefully going to do what's best for the Filipino people. So the breaking news is the Philippines turns down reported U.S. plan to return to Subic Bay Naval Base. And that kind of tears at my heart because I always want the United States and the Philippines to be close allies, you know. We have a lot of Filipinos that live here and we have a lot of Americans that live there. And, you know, we've had a rocky history in the past. We've had a war between ourselves. A lot of people blame the Philippines getting involved in World War II because we had bases there. And that's part of the reason, but the Japanese in World War II was running through all the countries, so it wouldn't have mattered. They would eventually got to the Philippines, and I think they would have got there quick because the Philippines is a strategic place in the Pacific Ocean. But anyway, we're gonna check out this this breaking news. Let's do this.
President Rodrigo Duterte, on Monday, rejected the reported plan of the United States to return to its former naval base in Subic Bay.
That saddens me.
In his fifth State of the Nation address, Duterte recalled reading news reports from weeks ago that the U.S. intends to return to its former naval base here in the Philippines. However, the president appeared to be reluctant to allow Americans back in the country, saying that U.S. bases will put Filipinos in extinction should a nuclear war breaks out.
And I don't, you know, there's lots of countries with lots of nukes, but hopefully there's not a crazy enough person left on this earth that would use them. You got to be cautious. There may be. There's certainly some crazy people, you know. Like the leader of the CCP, the godless bastard over there. He might, I don't know. But it would be the end of him if he did. Hopefully nothing ever leads back to nuclear warfare. Because we've seen what happened in Japan when the United States dropped a couple of them on there. The war ended immediately, but a lot of civilians died. A lot of innocent people, I would say, died. And that's just unfortunate. Sometimes it happens in war. And I don't ever want to see that again. Especially don't want to see my Filipino brothers and sisters over there. I don't ever want to see that happen to them. You know, that would be terrible. So
that's why when you put a base at this time, this will ensure, if war breaks out because there would be atomic arsenal brought in, this will ensure the extinction of the Filipino race, Duterte said. Subic Bay was one of the most extensive U.S. naval facilities in the world before it was shut down in 1992 when the Philippine Senate terminated the base's agreement with Washington. Duterte earlier this year ordered the termination of the Visiting Forces Agreement, VFA, with the U.S. However, the separation was halted in June amid the pandemic. And we redefined our relationships with our most important partners, placing the country in a far better position to advance our interests in an evolving regional order and emerging global problems, Duterte added.
I hate to see the Philippines snuggling up to the Chinese. That's a very dangerous move, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
Following the president's address, other administration officials have expanded on the reported plan for the U.S. Navy to return to Subic Bay. Department of National Defense (DND) Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said there would be no American presence at the base. There will be no U.S. base in Subic. I can assure you about that, he said, as reported by Philippine news agency. Meanwhile, Navy Chief Vice Admiral Giovanni Carlo Bicordo warned of the effects if the U.S. returned, arguing that it would make the Philippines a legitimate target in the unlikely event of war. That is way beyond just having U.S. Navy ships conducting repairs or other commercial activities in Subic, Bicardi said, according to Manila Bulletin.
That's alright though, because we have other allies in the Pacific Ocean. A big one, Japan, and they've actually bought an island so we could put some airstrips on there. So, you know, if you don't want us there, that's fine. I respect that, but there's other places we can be in the Pacific Ocean.
Meanwhile, in recent years, the United States has struggled to persuade the Philippine government and the country's citizens it is serious about honoring its commitments under the 1951 U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty (MDT). China has been feeding this growing mistrust, hoping to drive a wedge between the two long-standing allies to the point one or both will move to terminate the treaty. 27 years ago, the Stars and Stripes were hauled down for the final time at Naval Base Subic Bay, Republic of the Philippines, fulfilling the U.S. obligations to withdraw all military forces and vacate all bases after the Philippine Senate rejected a new military bases agreement in September 1991. This ended 94 years of U.S. military basing arrangements in the Philippines.
Long time.
At the time, there was no peer competitor in the Western Pacific, and then Pacific Commander Admiral Charles Larson announced a new Pacific and Indian Ocean regional strategy of places not bases, which remains the strategy today. In 1998, a new visiting forces agreement was finally signed, allowing U.S. military personnel and ship visits to the Philippines. In 2014, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement (EDCA) was signed. However, despite Pompeo's strategic clarity and its reception by Secretary Locsin, Philippine Secretary of National Defense Delfin Lorenzana held fast to his call for a review of the MDT. In December 2018, Lorenzana surprised complacent security watchers in Washington when he announced that the MDT ought to be reviewed to determine whether it should be maintained, improved, or scrapped.
A lot of Chinese influence here.
Lorenzana saw that the Philippines benefits from its alliance with the U.S. through mechanisms such as the Visiting Forces Agreement and the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement (EDCA). However, Lorenzana also recognized the ambivalence in the operationalization of the retaliatory clause in Article 4 of the MDT, mainly the wording that each party would be following its constitutional processes. As early as 1982, then-President Ferdinand Marcos had contended that if the Philippines were attacked, the United States would not be bound to immediately react because the constitutional process mandates congressional approval, which, in turn, means a delay in American military intervention.
It can be approved in a day, though, in an hour. Pretty sure that's all they have to say on that matter. You know, it's unfortunate, you know, maybe in the future we can have a base there if, you know, the leaders of the Philippines want it, but as for right now, Mr. Duterte, the President Duterte, doesn't, and that's fine. That's fine and dandy. We have other places in the Pacific Ocean that we will be and we'll be floating around there too, because we're not going to let China do what they want to do and basically take over the world. That's their plan. I don't know. You may disagree. You may agree. I don't know. Let me know down below in the comment section. But for now, let me know what I should react to next. Stay safe. Try not to catch that COVID. Hopefully I didn't, but I'll let you know if I did. And I'll see you next time. Peace.